remanded to the district courts to take such proceedings and enter such orders and decrees consistent with this opinion as are necessary and proper to admit the parties to these cases to public schools on a racially non-discriminatory basis with all deliberate speed. 1950s, Harry S. Truman is the president. The First Indochina War ends. The finale to witch hunt of communists. And the prominent Brown versus Board of Education decision. May 17, 1954. Earl Warren, the U.S. Supreme Court Justice, ruled in favor of Brown with a unanimous decision in the well-known Brown versus Board of Education of Topeka, Kansas. The Brown versus Board of Education decision impacted the integration of schools in Baltimore City in the 1950s by affecting the public schooling system and currently impacts the Baltimore school system today. The Brown versus Board of Education case paved the way for the needed integration within the school system. The ideologies against Brown went directly against the 14th Amendment that supported the right of African Americans. 5 schools were directly impacted: Baltimore City College, the Polytechnic Institute, Frederick Douglass High School, Westside Edmondson High School, and Carver Vocational Prep. Today, the African American population within these schools is high and continuously growing. These schools were integrated due to the Brown versus Board of Education case. This increasing population is a factor when considering the violence of the Baltimore area, dominant race within that area, and the way this change affected the perception of city education. The Baltimore area is split into 2 spheres, identified in this song. Most Caucasians take to the country or countryside, while most African Americans live in the city. The city is also significantly poorer than the county. The schools mentioned are within the city limits, so how could their integration have no effect on the Baltimore habitat when during segregation, Baltimore was mostly Caucasian? The integration of schools in Baltimore County brought a negative impact on the city and its perception in the eyes of others. Flight is the move of white city dwellers to the suburbs to escape the influx of minorities during the 1940s to the 1970s. De facto segregation is segregation that happens between the African American and white community. In March of 2017, there was an incident in a school that experienced de facto segregation. The 2 boys were both classmates and best friends. They both wanted to get into the 11th grade AP English class. Eli, who had worries about whether AP English was for him because he had poor attendance and had barely passed some assignments. However, his teacher had no doubt that he would succeed in the class. Mikey, on the other hand, had failed several assignments but believed that he could succeed in a more competitive environment. The teacher was questionable about his decision. That fall, Eli, who was white, enrolled in AP English, and his response was that, "I was always kind of told I belonged here," while Mikey, who was black, enrolled in regular English, saying that that's where the black kids are. Jonathan Plucker, a professor at Johns Hopkins University School of Education, said, "Even if these kids are performing on par with other groups, we tend to look right past them. There is unquestionably bias in the system there. There is a persuasive problem." Recently, because of Baltimore City school cuts, 1,000 people from teachers to custodians are being laid off to close the $130 million gap. This would cause a decrease in education for inner city students. 3,400 students will be affected because of this. Around 14 schools will either close, move, or merge, changing the classroom and neighborhoods throughout the city.